Next up, all the way from Massachusetts. When he's not writing, he's playing tennis and reading novels. Please welcome to the stage, Ian Williams.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi, Ian.
This is one of my favorite parts of CC, just hearing people like speed dating. I'm going to read a couple of poems from my book, You Know Who You Are. And this has been a really interesting time at CC because, like Toy said yesterday, the question that's always plagued me whenever I'm about to sort of do something is, who do you think you are, right? Who do you think you are doing this or trying this? And other voices too. And so it was important to say, you know who you are. But that's not the poem I'm going to read. I'm going to read a light poem. This is my GPS poem. It's called Recalculating. Recalculating. She's in her 60s, the church lady in the passenger seat, who's all but saying we're lost because I'm driving too fast. She leans forward and looks up. In 50 meters, turn right, as if checking the weather. You should listen to the GPS man, she says. Turn right, and dropping her voice, he sounds irritated. He's fine, we're fine, this is a shortcut. 2 minutes of forest and dotted line later, she asks about my mother. What does she do? Only to gauge whether I plan to take her home or kill her. Dump the body over the guardrail. She sits on her hands. I turn up the heat. Recalculating. Recalculating. She checks the sky again. I explain that there's no British man in outer space wearing a headset and tracking our movements along Route 117. Well, of course there's no man in space, she says. It's all done via satellite. He's probably in Delhi. There's no man, period, I say. She corrects me. I correct her. Whose voice is that then? It's nobody's voice. It's a man's voice. There is no one. There is someone. There is no one. There is someone. And maybe one new poem. And the poem is called Hay, and of course, Needles in Haystacks. And I always like to have something behind, some kind of formal or technical thing to work through. And for a while, my project was, how little information can I give a reader and still have them make sense of something? So this is one of those poems. It's called Hay. H-A-Y, Hay. He was a young inner-city needle who played ball in a cage. What the needle were we thinking? I would needle my hands in the chain-link needle and needle him. He played with his needle off, and his abs were needled like a half-eaten Hershey needle. I had a needle when I was 17. I told my needle I was needle, and he paid. We had needled each other. Of course it's needleable whether our needle was really a needle when we decided to needle it. If it was a needle, I would name it Needle. We weren't allowed to needle after the needle, so we never talked about the needle. My needle dropped out of needle and needled a 6-week certification needle. I needle saw him much. Needle once or twice he came back and brought me needles for lunch, and we needled our needles in the calf in silence with our chopsticks. I needle you, he said. I needle you too.